Of the 5 big news stories of this week, which ones will be most remembered by historians? Let's do them least likely to most likely. Quiet Piggy, a horrible thing for the President of the United States to say to a reporter for Bloomberg. The reporter should get together and demand an apology or they won't cover him. And one of them should probably say something in real time rather than just stand there silently. How about, "Why are you so rude, Mr. President?" He needs the legacy media more than people realize. He doesn't want to just be talking to Breitbart News and Newsmax. And so they have some leverage that they need to start using on Air Force One or in the Oval Office when he meets with reporters. The next one to maybe think about whether it will last or not is this extraordinary meeting between Zohran Mamdani and Donald Trump. Defied everybody's expectations. But it's kind of logical when you think about it. They need each other. Mamdani needs Trump because he has to have money from Washington or his administration will just be in chaos moving forward. And Trump needs Mamdani to latch on to the affordability agenda, which he has to start identifying with if he's going to have any hope at all in the midterms. But I expect this agreement to last less time than the Nazi-Soviet Pact of 1939, the fascist communist pact. It broke down in less than 2 years, and I give Mamdani and Trump about 6 months before Trump finds some kind of excuse to go after the new mayor. Speaking of the Soviets, this so-called peace plan that Steve Witkoff wrote with the Russians, there's actually Russian language in there, to impose on Ukraine is a non-starter. I don't think it'll be very well remembered by history because it's just the opening move in what will likely be an unsuccessful peace effort. If Trump were ever able to ram a treaty down everybody's throat, you can expect that Ukrainians would continue to resist if it was one that sold them out by forcing them to relinquish all this territory and reduce their army. That's just not going to fly. The Epstein files. Yes, this scandal will bedevil Trump to the end of his term, but it's important to remember there's not going to be evidence in those files, which we will see eventually, of law breaking by Trump really or of anybody else, because the FBI's had these files for a while, and if there had been somebody who needed to be prosecuted the way Ghislaine Maxwell was, that would have happened. So what we're likely to see is highly embarrassing material, not just about some people we may not have heard of much yet, but about Trump, most likely around what Michael Wolff says we'll learn about, the so-called Pussy Committee, which was Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein pimping for Prince Andrew, finding him women. And so we're gonna likely at the other end of this see President Pimp. That's what he was doing in his jokey way with Jeffrey Epstein. And the final story of this week that I think is most likely to linger when historians write about the Trump era is the President of the United States threatening members of Congress with execution. We have never seen anything approaching this in American history. Of course, the story will be infinitely worse if these death threats that these members of Congress are now getting were to end in violence. But even if they don't, Donald Trump should be censured by the Senate and the House for what he said.